What is the brand of your family? How do you describe your family? And what would your neighbors describe your family? Is it a family that is loving? Is it a family that is hardworking? Is it a family that is respectful? Is it a family that has values that guide them? Or is it a family that doesn't care about each other? Is it a family that terrorizes the community? What is your brand? Every one of us has a brand, and every family has a brand. So the kind of family you come from will determine the kind of brand that you have. Welcome to Sunny Dialogues with Coach Evolved Faith. Today I will be looking at family love and how that love can support one in managing depression and even avoiding getting depressed. In my last video, I talked about self-love and how it helps us to work through depression. What is the brand of your family? Because when you think about a brand of a company, it is tailored around the same concept of a brand in a family. Every family has its own brand reputation. As I grew up, I knew each family in my neighborhood and what they were identified with. So I'll ask you, what's your brand identity as a family? Are you known as a family that are athletes? Are you known as a family that are religious? Are you known as a family that is generous, respectful? Because this brand that we are raised in is the one that actually shapes us and makes us become who we are as we navigate through life. And remember, in a family, we also have genes. That's why sometimes you'll hear when you have things like cancer or diabetes, the doctors tend to ask, do you have a member of the family who has this condition? Because your family history also can point in the direction that your health is likely to take. But for purposes of our video today, I just want to talk about the brand of your family, and this encompasses the values that are inculcated in you as a child, and as you go through life throughout, even in your old age, you find that your family continues to rally around you or to build you. A family doesn't have a classroom setup, but a family is a training ground. It's a place where you learn as you do chores together, as you do family activities like playing with your parents, with your siblings, and also having meals together, including having meals with your relatives as you visit or as they come to visit you. A family is a beautiful training ground because you learn how to interact with one another and eventually how to interact with the outside world. So you learn things like how to be confident in yourself. You also learn how to assert yourself or not to assert yourselves. So the brand of your family will determine if you have a healthy upbringing or not. Family, the more healthy your family environment is, the healthier you become as a person, and the more you're likely to face the world in a healthy manner, and even the issues of life, you find yourself coping better than if you're coming from a dysfunctional or an unhealthy family. However, life is life, and sometimes life can throw different challenges your way, and you can find yourself getting depressed. When this happens, the love and support that you will derive from your family will help you overcome this challenge, because a family will walk with you. A family will affirm you. A family will uphold you no matter what. And wherever you are, in whatever situation you are, you will find yourself leaning back to your family to get the support you need. So as members of a family, how can you support a loved one going through depression? I want to share 10 tips. on how you can support a family member suffering depression. And tip number one is learn all you can about depression. There are different kinds of depression, so understand what kind of depression is your loved one experiencing. Because by knowing the depression that your loved one is experiencing, you will know how to mitigate. So learn the causes, understand the symptoms and how it manifests itself, and then understand the treatment. Number two, listen to your loved one so that you can understand them and understand exactly how they want to be helped. Ask them and listen actively so that you can understand. Don't assume and fill the gaps for yourself. Listen keenly and clarify with the loved one so that you can understand what are the issues that are challenging this person. What are the constant thoughts they're experiencing? What are the threats that this person is envisioning? And then from there, you'll also be able to know how real or how big or how much of it assumption. As you also listen, watch the body language, because the body language speaks more than words can say. And in watching this body language, you'll be able to learn a lot more about the person. Number three, encourage your loved one to seek treatment, because depression is a medical condition. And as they seek treatment, remember it is twofold. There's the psychiatrist aspect where you're prescribed for antidepressants, but there's also the talk therapy where you need to talk to a counselor or a psychologist who will help you unpack the things that are overwhelming you and help you navigate through them and see what is real, what is imaginary, or what are assumptions, and help you perceive things in the right manner, because depression kind of distorts our perceptions of our reality. So the talk therapist will help you work through that. And as a family, support this person to take their medication and go through the full course of treatment, because we tend to drop halfway. And one of the reasons why people abandon antidepressants, it's the side effects or how it makes them feel. So if you start feeling medication is not working with you, you can always go back and have that medication changed to medication that works right with you. If your counselor or the therapist you're seeing is not connecting with you, you don't have to continue going there, because you'll mistrust the person and not feel comfortable working with them. So encourage your loved one to review and change if necessary, but make sure they do their full treatment. And then the next point is that you can work with your loved one by understanding areas of support that they need. So you can help them to do things like taking care of children, maybe cooking, or even walking the pet, or even cleaning the house. Help them with such things, including things like grocery shopping, and sometimes even paying their bills. Sometimes you may have money, but you don't have the energy to go out there and pay your bills. So you can help with such. Then the next point is that you can support this person by involving them in doing activities around the home. Because when you are depressed, you become lethargic and you don't want to do anything. So help by involving this person to do things and not just lie in bed and wallow in self-pity, or just keep recycling the negative thoughts that are running nonstop in their mind. So when you involve them in activities, you're actually distracting them from themselves, and that way they're able to start thinking about other things. The next point that is more related to this one is not about involving them in chores, but inviting them to participate in social activities. Things like visiting with friends, encourage them to accompany you, invite them to come to functions like weddings, and just things that will distract them from themselves and just make them feel a bit of life and joy and relate with other people. I felt afraid of interacting with people. I didn't want to go to social occasions, but when I finally managed to step out and go to a few, I found myself starting to feel better about myself, and my mind calmed down, and my mind started thinking of fresh things as opposed to just cycling the old thoughts that I had. The next thing that I would like to say is that watch the words you speak to your loved one, because sometimes we listen to them and judge them, and also talk to them fixing them, trying to fix them or belittling their thoughts. That is not healthy. So be careful with the words you speak and be very, very positive as you talk to this loved one. Share words that speak of hope, share words that speak of possibilities, share words that give a light, so that there's that window where somebody can see that the situation they are in can change. And then the next point is that you need to help your loved one audit their lifestyle and make amends to their lifestyle. Number one in this audit is to think about themselves and how they are loving themselves. Affirm them, help them see the greatness that lies in them, because each one of us has some good things, some good traits. Focus on those ones and bring them out. And please don't give them fake affirmations, because they will sense them, and when they do that, they start mistrusting you. And before you can even start changing the way this person thinks, you need to earn their trust and confidence by listening to them, by being present fully in such a way that you are there with them, but you're not just there by body, but you're busy talking on the phone with other people, or you're busy doing other things, multitasking. That won't work with a depressed person, because you're sending a signal to them that there are more important things to deal with than them. And remember, a depressed person feels a bit unworthy or blames themselves. They feel like they are losers, they have failed, they have been judged, they've been condemned, and they just feel like the world is against them. So as you interact with them and support them and love them, try and show them by your actions, by your words, that they are not what they think they are. Because that's not the truth. The truth is that this person is valuable, this person has worth, but that worth is already covered with a lot of other things. And then the other thing about changing the lifestyle is thinking about the food they eat. Encourage them to review their diet so that they can work on a diet that will be beneficial to strengthening the mind. There are foods that are more healthy for the mind, and there are foods that are not very good for the mind. For example, sugar. Sugar is a stimulant. You don't want to keep taking sugar and sugary things, and you're going through a season in life where your mind is highly stimulated. You need to tone that down. I replaced sugar with molasses, and that helped me a little bit. And even things like wine, you don't need to take alcohol, those drugs that will stimulate you. You need to tone that down. The other thing one needs to do is do exercises, and you don't have to go to a gym. You can just do exercises in the house, because exercises help you stimulate your mind, and in a positive way, and relieve happy hormones. And also it's good for your body. When your body is active, it feels good and feels energetic, as opposed to just feeling sluggish. Your friends, it is important to also audit the people you interact with. Friends, family, are they toxic? Are they adding value, or are they constantly making you feel unworthy? Or are they bringing what are they bringing into your life? If they're not bringing value, please release them. minimize your interaction with them as much as possible. And this also goes for a toxic environment. Sometimes it's very difficult, because if it's your workplace or if it's your marriage that is toxic, then that can be very challenging. So how would you do that? How would you relieve yourself from a toxic marriage or a toxic workplace? This can be handled by working on your inner self in such a way that you can ignore things that you cannot change, and you can find a way of building yourself in such a way that those things are deflected. Those toxins are deflected from you. They don't have to enter to penetrate into your heart and hurt you. Build a shield around yourself. The next point I would like to say is that sleep is very important as a component of lifestyle audit. A lot of depressed people struggle with insomnia and sleep very little. So if you're going through depression, please take your time. Please find a way of sleeping minimum 6 hours, even if it means taking medication so that you can restore your sleep cycle. It is very essential to do that. And then after that, you'll find that you're coping. You start feeling better. The next point I want to talk about is that as you take care of this loved one who is going through depression, you might think it's a small task, but it's a very big task, because a depressed person can be very unlovable. So you have to this calls upon you to be intentional and committed in loving your loved one unconditionally. And understanding that as you love this person and support them get well, you become the bridge for this person to heal from depression and gain normalcy. One of the ways you can support yourself is by enlisting the help of other family members, and also creating boundaries. Boundaries that will help you know, this is my limit, or the 20% of healing will come from you, and 80%, the bulk of the healing, should come from the depressed person. And this will call upon you to exercise tough love. Love, but be tough, because sometimes you have to pull this person out of their inner most dark space. How do you do that? You encourage them. You set up a schedule with them. Work on a schedule with them and follow it, such that if it means taking a bath, you will agree that they will take a bath after every day or every 2 days, and agree on a time, and then ask them and to take the bath, and be firm about it. If it's going for a walk, agree and be firm about it. If it's doing activities in the house, be firm about it, but don't force them to do too much. If they do a little bit of what you agree with, be grateful about that. There is more that you can do, but I wanted to share those few tips that would help you in loving your depressed person get well. If you apply these tips that I have shared on this video, you will start finding change occurring, and gradually healing will occur. It's not an easy journey, but it is doable, and lives can be turned around with family love. I will be sharing more ways that love can help us heal depression. Thank you for watching, and please do subscribe to this channel. I appreciate. Click the subscription button.